Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks you for dialing in for tonight IPO webinar. Here we have PMCK Berhad. PMCK will be listed on ACE market on July of 9. PMCK Berhad offering specialist consultant services. Second, offering healthcare support services comprising facility services and ward services, clinical, sales of medication, and nurturing care services. And third, they're also offering other services comprising general dental services and polyclinic services. And later on, our PMCK Berhad management team will discuss it in detail. Here, we're going to honor to have the company managing director, Dr. Lee. Datuk Lee. Hi, Datuk Lee.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. And our strategy director, Mr. Lee. Hi, Mr. Lee.
Hello.
Hi. And our financial controller, Mr. Yap. Hi, Mr. Yap.
Hi.
Hi. All right. Let's review for the corporate video before I run through the presentation. Thank you.
Putra Medical Centre is equipped with modern medical facilities, specialising in multiple medical disciplines. A great hospital, however, is more than just great equipment. We maintain a healthy relationship with our patients and understand the importance of listening. To effectively identify a patient's need and to be able to explain their condition in a way that makes sense to them. We are compassionate to our patients. We provide comfort and respond with kindness. At Putra Medical Centre, we're passionate about what we do because healthcare isn't just a job. It's a commitment to promote good health and to help others.
All right, we start the corporate presentation now.
Okay. So, okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar with Rakuten to host this. So, I'm Datuk Lee Gek Cheng, Managing Director of PMCK. So, let me introduce you my company. So, we are a hospital, private healthcare services. We provide choice healthcare services for the community. And our mission is to deliver quality healthcare services comprehensively and consistently through continuous development in human resource and upgrading of technology. Next, please. Okay, so as you can see, the top left picture, the white color building is Putra Medical Center. We built this medical center in 1995. Subsequently, in the next picture is that we do our expansion and our renovation, and we built a 9 stories building adjacent with this existing building, and that makes up the Putra Medical Center today. And along the way, we also have our accreditation ISO and MSUH in year 2016. After that, in year to come, in 2019, we start our polyclinic services and dental services in Kulim. And in the meanwhile also, we bought a piece of land in Kulim. And we subsequently going to build one PMC Kulim in this piece of land that we bought in 2019. And in 2023, we start our Kulim lab services, and is called our MDX in Kulim. Next slide, please. So let's see the business overview. So as you can see, Putra Medical Center Alostar, we have 2 buildings adjacent together. So one is built in 1995, and another new wing is 2009. So we from 72 bed, we expand our capacity in 162 bed, and as at 22nd April 2025, we have 121 beds. We have 17 specialization and 40 doctors. So what our business comprises offer is that specialist consultant services, healthcare support services such as facility services, ward services, clinical support services, sale of medication, nursing care, and other services. We provide general dental care, polyclinic services, and medical laboratory services. So we serve 500,000 patients in financial year end 2024, and 9,336 inpatient, and average length of stay is between 5 days. Bed occupancy 71, and average outpatient revenue is around Ringgit Malaysia 241, and average revenue for inpatient is 8,000 plus. Next slide, please. So our facility services, we have accident and emergency unit, dietetic unit, ear, nose, throat unit, ENT unit, endoscopy suite, labor room, nursery unit, dialysis, operation theatre. Ward services, we have private ward, which is single room. We have deluxe ward, sharing room, which is 2-bedded. We have platinum ward, single room as well, and high dependency unit and daycare ward as well. Next slide, please. So for clinic support services, we have medical laboratory services, rehabilitative, which is called physiotherapy services, and radiology services. Under general dental services, we have 2 dental clinics, one in Kulim and one in Semanye. And we have medical laboratory services in Kulim as well. And in Kulim also, we have polyclinic services provided. Next slide, please. So you can see there are 3 spots. One spot in Alostar, which is Putra Medical Center, also our headquarter. So we have 17 specialization and we provide healthcare support services. So in Kulim, we have unique dental, we have polyclinic unique, and we have RYM DX lab services in Kulim, and one dental services in Semenyih, Selangor. Next slide, please. Okay, later I'll pass this key investment to Mr. Lee Yong Qian, our strategic director. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dato'. Usually I speak in front of a live audience, but this is my second time speaking in front of a camera, so be patient with me. But we've been in this industry for the past 30 years. So Dato' has been in this healthcare for quite some time already lah. I think when the prospectus also mentioned she has 28 years of experience. So speaking about 30 years of experience, opening a hospital is quite difficult. It's very hard. For most hospitals, you look at 60% of repeat patients is already an achievement. So 80% puts us over the top. We are definitely hitting above the benchmark and hitting above average compared to our industrial peers. At 162 beds, we have 71% of bed occupancy. So as Dato' was mentioning that this year onwards, we concurrent with the listing and because of the changing in patient demand, you know, nowadays when we go to hospital, right? Wow, very pantang one. Doctor put us beside the coughing patient like that. Wow, I think it's COVID already. So, you know, a lot of patients, they feel like nowadays is quite risky to go to the hospital because you will catch all the airborne diseases, hand, foot, mouth, flu. So because of this, a lot of patients, they don't want to admit with a shared room. They want a single room. So because of this, we saw that at 162 beds, we had this 71% bed occupancy. So because of the changing patient demand, we actually drop it down to 121. But that doesn't affect the P&L because actually it should be healthier, considering that now our operative cost is should be much lower lah. And of course, Mr. Money here will be here to attest that also, Mr. Yap. In terms of our services, we have 4 main operations, as Dato' has mentioned and covered. We have a double wing medical center, polyclinic, 2 dental clinics, and a medical lab. Next, please. But of course, this track record cannot be made possible without a strategic positioning. Now, unlike most other hospitals that open in KL and Penang, those hotspots, we position ourselves from the start in 1995 in Kedah. I actually saw one question there, whether or not we are going to go out of the other states or not, and my answer to you in due time lah. We are not object to it, we are considering it, but of course we start with something we are familiar. So we start with our home turf in Kedah first. You can see in the northern region also, we only have 3 beds in Kedah, 1 bed in Perlis. And as you know, some hospitals are also closing in Perlis, in these suburban regions, kampong regions. So yeah, there's an underserved population there, and we believe that we can serve them. And you know, unlike other IPOs, some of them who are dealing with products, they can easily just photocopy and print and make and then sell off to people. Hospitals is very different. We need to be there. We need to be there on the foot ground. So we are considering expansion, but for now we will focus on Kulim first. Thanks a lot for the question also. So in due time, but not so soon. As you know, hospitals also cost few hundred million, yeah, per hospital. So it will take some time lah. Another popular question that we got was why we open Semenyih Clinic. That was one. I don't know whether there's a Q&A here or not, but for the Rakuten host, please keep an eye out. I will answer this to say that we open in Semenyih and other places. You'll find that we open first to introduce the brand. And also look at the demographic population to study whether what people need first. So by doing that, we can also lower our costs and really hit the nail on the head when we say that we invest in something that's proper lah. Because you cannot open the whole department, like let's say aging population, takkan you go and open something that's not related to this aging population, something that's not related lah. Okay, so anyways, next. So when we talk about what to open, in Alostar, actually we have 17 medical specializations. 40 of them are experienced consultants. And out of the 40, we have 26 of them are residents, 14 are visiting, with at least of 15 years of average experience. So definitely not a short of hand and definitely not a short of experience lah in Alostar. I saw one of the questions was which of the medical specializations is a top earner, and I can tell you there's 4 of them. Cardiology is our main top earner, but it's followed by obstetric and gynecology, orthopedics, and pediatrics. Usually in the medical industry, we say that obstetric and gynecology and pediatrics is come in a pair, because typically if you do both, buy one get one free loh. The mother come in for the obstetric, and then the child also come out for the pediatrics. So it's quite a typical occurrence lah. But not all hospital will have this. So thankfully for us, we have this top 4. So in our hospital, we actually offer a lot of medical specializations. Some of them are already giving some level of tertiary care, like for example, cardiology. And then we also have some of the more rare specializations like oral and maxillofacial surgery. You won't see a lot of hospitals have the dental, but we have. The reason we have a dental is because we believe in Dato Lee's mantra, and Dr. Lim's mantra is to have a comprehensive and holistic care. Something that starts in the tooth may lead to another problem, complications later on. So a person have to be jaga from head to toe. Cannot just look at one portion only. Next, please. So when we talk about our patients, it's very important that they get the best care, but that also means that we have to serve them in however shape or form. So in PMC, our composition for our revenue model, one question asked was how sensitive is it? So actually, we look at the revenue patient model is actually about 50-50 lah. So 50% cash, 50% insurance. So for those that are insurance, we are covered by 7 insurance companies. 12 TPAs, 32 corporations, and 17 government agencies. Now, also remember that TPAs, they work in a very different manner. They are representing few hundred more companies behind them. So maybe from one TPA, you have a bunch of people. An example of a TPA, if any of you are bankers or any of you are part of a big corporation, then you know something like PMCare, MyCare, and Medi Express, in the sense where, you are part of a bank, they have a panel on PMCare, then they can go and see a group of hospitals. So getting the insurance companies and TPAs and all this panel coverage is very important for a hospital. This allows us to say that we are still charging at a very affordable rate that is acceptable to the insurance norms and to the TPA norms. But what also means that they actually have a lot of confidence, because we have an access to these panels, and we can tap into that market lah. Now, in terms of how sensitive is it to our revenue, thankfully it's not. Because most of our charges for cash or insurance is not distinguished. We know that there's a lot of hospitals that may claim this, but thankfully at our group, we can affirm that most of our cost is the same. When I say most, I think Dato, we can say 80% now, 80-90%. The cash to insurance cost is the same lah, the charges. Maybe 1 or 2 slight discrepancy, few hundred here, there lah.
Yeah.
But
So except you want to continue your stay. Example,
yeah,
if you are day case to day case, there's not much because we don't have like inpatient price 1, inpatient price 2, inpatient price 3. We only have you are outpatient or you are inpatient. There's only
yeah,
two segment of price in our system. So we
in a
don't have
hospital.
outpatient price 1, outpatient price 2, outpatient price 3. Or for price 1 is the cash one, for outpatient price 2 for insurance one, outpatient price 3 for the orang
Yeah.
kaya one. No lah, we don't have. We only have either you choose outpatient price or inpatient. That's all.
Yeah. So for that, we don't really have much of a so-called like a very sensitive model. And also even towards the government sector also, which I will talk a little bit about much later on. Next slide, please. So Dato spoke about the commitment to quality, but let me put into perspective what this quality means. So for a lot of listed companies, I do know from personal experience that they usually have ISO. ISO is very important because it tells you that management is very up to date with our paperwork, and we are very compliant to our policies. We stay everything in the line. But that also means that we're very tidy and organized people lah. For MSQH, this one, to give you a perspective, this is like a Michelin star for a restaurant. In Malaysia, there's over 200 hospitals, but less than or about 100 hospitals, so less than half of them only have MSQH. Even some of the very, very extravagant hospitals may not have it, because it's a very, very stringent compliance to have. One of the requirements, if I may share, is actually, for example, you should only have one patient death a year for whatever reason. So this means that your patient clinical outcome is very much assured. You have to hit that 90% mark all the time, and most hospitals may not be able to comply. So this means that if you come and walk into a hospital, you're getting Malaysian standard, national standard of healthcare lah. We don't compromise, although you may be paying for affordable price. Now, last but not least, we also have the IHF membership. This membership just means that our hospitality is of Swiss standard. So we are just very hospitable people in nature lah. We are very caring and very kind. Next, please. So of course, who are the faces that are serving the patients and of course leading the management? We have Dr. Lim, who is a Deputy Executive Chairman. He has personally 40 years of experience. He himself is a doctor, leading two different sons of his. One is Dr. Lim Zichao and Dr. Lim Zichuan, who are the clinical director and head of clinical services, with a daughter-in-law of Dr. Lim Hui Ling, medical director also. Now combine each average out, they have about 17 years of experience in different fields. Dr. Lim Zichao has a lot of experience in obstetric and gynecology. He also oversees the strategic direction for most of the clinical portion lah. So this means that any issues with the doctor arising, any issues with the clinical outcomes is taken care of by him. We have Datin, who's a medical director, taking care and seeing the day-to-day operations for the medical side. Now, when we say medical side, this actually means that it involves the nursing department also. So this means that it's a little bit of Dr. Lim Zichao's clinical option, but also with nursing. That means she's looking at the overall things like medical negligence, litigation, any issues with how the nurses are treating the patients, anything like of the sort lah. Now, last but not least, head of clinical services, Dr. Lim Chichun takes care of the patient relations, the actual nitty-gritty and groundwork, where there are patient complaints, there is dissatisfied care and all this lah. But he also focuses on the delivery of the care, because you have equipment, you have machines, what to buy, what to consider, all this. He himself is an orthopedics and traumatology specialist. So any of you who lift the gym and go to the gym a lot, you have back pain, shoulder pain, and it's persistent, you can go and find him. Dato Lee, Managing Director, also here with us today, is also leading a team of operations. We have my two aunts, Li Get Peng and Li Ling Hui, who's the Director of Allied Health Services, Purchasing Manager, and also the General Manager. Of course, with Mr. Yap here also with us today, Financial Controller. Ms. Li Gaping is the Director of Allied Health with 20 years of experience. She's a radiographer by profession, but she takes care of the allied health. Basically, it's your pharmacist, your physiotherapist, your lab technicians, and also your dietitians. So she is responsible for the group procurement, but also looking and overseeing this allied health services department. Whereas for Li Ling Hui, or we know her as Esther lah. Esther, she's the general manager, but also the safety officer. So she's always on the lookout for whether or not we are shouldering good practices for the hospital. But with 25 years in the industry, she's also looking at compliance, safety, and health standards. So she makes sure that all the machines are running in a very efficient sense, but also even the small, tiny little knobs and tinkers, the small little switches, also all of them are working well. Last but not least, the person that finances the whole thing is Mr. Yap. Without him, the group financial matters were probably in jeopardy. So he oversees this department, and with 10 years in the industry in audit and also in corporate finance, we are more than in capable hands. Next, please. So with this key investment highlights, there are 6 reasons why you should invest in PMC, but I'll just give you one very big reason. One is, to say the least, is talking about compassionate care, just to give you an experience. I can tell you that we can have 30 years of experience, we're in an underserved region, blah, blah, blah. I just repeat whatever I said 5 minutes ago. But the main reason is because of compassionate care. Dr. Lim, as you saw in the video, he started the hospital because of his mother. But the mantra stays, the philosophy stays. At our hospital, we still keep a lot of the charges to a relative affordable range. Now, what do we mean by affordable range? For example, most of you have auntie, uncles, or not uncles, aunties, sisters, or maybe you are mothers, or you have daughters who maybe had delivered a baby. Now, it's not to offend anyone in the KL or Penang region, but you all know how much is the bill, right? Like, take a guess. an average KL, I've asked and surveyed around, your average C-section delivery in KL is probably 12 to 20K, right? Yeah, so 12,000 hingga 20,000 is a lot of money for us in Alostar, because for the same amount of the delivery C-section, you can actually get it in Alostar for 5,700 in our hospital. But that's less than half of the cost that you pay in Penang or KL. So this is the compassionate care that I usually talk about in our slides, but it's a philosophy that we live on a day-to-day basis. And why we do this is because Dato and Dr. Lim believe that giving affordable healthcare is very important to everyone. So I would hope that when you invest into us, it's not just talking about all these things on paper, but it's something a lot larger and bigger. Next slide. So I cannot talk about the IPO without talking about this. So these are the key growth drivers in Malaysia. So one of the other reasons, aside from about compassionate care, our specializations, our experience, you're also investing into private healthcare in Malaysia. This statistics by Smith Zander is gathered on a general sense where all the private healthcare in Malaysia, including those in the premium and those in the lower range and affordable range like us, we are growing at an average rate of 8%. But of course, I believe our niche is a lot bigger lah, because now you can see in the news, there's so much talking about medical inflation, talking about medical prices surging and so on and so forth. But we're not just backed by because of the low prices. Generally speaking, in Malaysia, our key growth drivers are 5 reasons. One is our economic income growth is a lot higher. So with increasing wages, that also means that there's increasing purchasing power by our citizens with increased disposable salary. Now, the second reason is because of prevalence of lifestyle-related diseases. This means that a lot of NCDs, the NCDs are like the three devils, high cholesterol, high diabetic, hypertension. So these three devils are increasing on a late basis. And for most of you that are not in the medical industry, these kind of NCDs are going to be much more problematic, right? Especially in the future with Malaysia's aging population. And take a guess whether or not the NCDs, all these three little devils, is actually taken care of by big hospitals or small hospitals. And I'll tell you the answer is actually the small hospital. Why? Because, for example, for treatment of pain of diabetics, my grandmother was a diabetic also. She was also often sought after by the primary and the secondary physicians. Sometimes when you remove an eye, you remove a leg, you will have pain in that area. We in the medical industry, we call it phantom pain or phantom limb. That means you already don't have the hand, but you feel like you still got the hand and it's painful. This is because when you cut it off, there's some nerve damages. So how to treat something that is not there? Most of the time, you actually have to go and see anesthesiologists in the long term. Now, a lot of people know this. You don't go and see fancy doctor, whatever, to take whatever medicine, grow back your arm, whatever. No, it doesn't work. What actually works is you go see an anesthesiologist and they'll try to do long-term pain management for you. In this sense, that's why we believe that staying in the primary and secondary hospital also can still make good profit and income lah, because there's a lot of diseases actually treated at the primary and secondary level. We don't need to over-invest into specialized equipment in the tertiary and quaternary just to make good money lah. There's still a lot of problems even at these two levels to actually suffice us to be in here. Now, the fourth reason why you invest in PMCK is because of rising medical payout, driven by increasing private insurance penetration. Now, as I've spoken, there's a lot of news about the insurance medical inflation now. So, of course, with our group, I think we tackle and serve a so-called, not like a niche, but like a need of the market itself, whereby you're talking about affordable healthcare with still at the quality clinical outcome. Now, last but not least, for government initiative, we will improve affordability and accessibility of private healthcare in Malaysia. Also spoken a lot about in Malaysia is the DRG, right? DRG in Malaysia it's not yet come out, but I know that probably there's going to be a question there about whether or not DRG is good for us. And I think to say that with 5,700 for C-section delivery, I think we will be in the forefront lah. We can do well because we are already very familiar with this territory of pricing. We are somewhere between government where we are not getting like 1 ringgit medicine like that lah, but we also don't charge you like the premium healthcare players where one bill can fall out 20-30K like that. So we are somewhere in the middle. So because of that, we also have government initiatives in our hospital, we get referral cases from GH also that will help to boost our profits and revenue, because our price is the closest to them compared to the ones that are in the premium sector, right? Because the GH is standing here, and the gap is just too big sometimes. So that's one of the benefits of investing into PMCK. Next slide. So of course, with our IPO, we are also funding this future plan. The future plan is a very simple and straightforward one. Just so you know, FYI, the picture in the middle is not a ship. It's actually a hospital. It's not a big kapal or like a boat. I know it looks like a boat, but it's not. So PMC Kulim is located strategically in the Kulim High Tech Park area with 6 different industrial parks surrounding it. As you can see below towards the left side, there's a little map. PMCK Kulim is located just somewhere below the K in Kulim. So because of that, we think that in the inland area, there's a lot of untapped market because there's no private healthcare hospital player there at the moment. There's only one Klinik Kesehatan GH Kulim there in the surrounding region, and then most of them, the other players are all on the Penang side of the and the island side lah. So the distance between us and them, although the map looks very small, don't be fooled, it's actually 2 hours away. And for anyone who's driving in 2 hours of pain, that's a very long time to be in pain. So we believe that when you drive in and out through the main artery line, which you will see in the picture beside the bottom left, beside the B, there's one main road going in and out of Kulim. That road is actually the main artery line of Kulim High Tech Park, meaning to say that if you want to drive in and out of Kulim, you want to go to Penang or you want to go to Kedah, you definitely pass by us after you get off of the NKB highway. So this also means that when you make a trip or decision to go to receive any of the healthcare treatment in Penang, you actively have to turn and look at us before you go. Of course, there are a lot of smaller roads, but only the locals will know lah. The people who rarely visit the spot like me right now, because no hospital, you will only take that main road. This main road will also be expanded at a later date. This is in talks with the Bandaraya of Kulim lah. So with these 6 areas of six high-tech parks, there's a very big market to serve. We are now in fasa 3, fasa 4 for most of the factories there. And we are not talking about 1 small 2 factories. No, we are talking about big, large semicon factories there. And they have a lot of thousands and thousands of people inside. So how to cater that market is our PMC Kulim. PMC Kulim will open with 90 beds, 1 OT, 1 endoscopic unit, 2 labor rooms, 2 nurseries, and 15 specialists. This 15 specialists is part of KKM's requirement to open any general hospital. Now, this boat-looking hospital is very special because it's a 5-star MyCrest hospital. Rated at 81%, this hospital will be the first green 5-star hospital in Malaysia. I think there's no other private player that can tout this achievement. But for our design, and right now we are in 6 months in construction, we are poised to be the first 5-star hospital, green hospital in Malaysia lah. So this one will help to not only cut down on carbon emissions, but for the P&L, it means that your operative cost is a lot more efficient. So our estimation guess is that this one would improve our P&L, maybe ballpark 10%, 20%. This one we don't know yet. Have to depend on what happens when it opens and whether or not we can achieve the first 5-star green efficiency accreditation. So the hospital will be completed on Q1 2028, but we did our IPO first, and this development will feature 12-story of private medical center with a 7-story mixed development. The mixed development is basically a visitor center with some retail space so that the patients don't have to walk too far to get their retailing needs. You know, any food, cafe, anything like that can go everything in-house into the hospital. This boat-looking hospital is not just for the 5-star, just for the look of it. It's actually very much in tout with the idea that, you know, when the patient, you stay in a place that is green, that is refined, you will be more happy. So by doing so, maybe we will make patient satisfaction go up, and we will push the boundaries and the levels of healthcare in Malaysia. So you don't have to just stay in a hospital that smells like a hospital and look like a hospital, or us Chinese lah, we always say lah, macam duduk in a prison like that lah. Next slide. So of course, aside from PMC Kulim, 50 million of the money go to PMC Kulim. Then we have about 5.3 million will go into the upgrading of the facilities of PMC. So for us, we are just going to improve the clinical support services. We are going to improve the facility services for mammography and PACS, but also to upgrade the PMC's energy infrastructure. So we installed our solar panels back in 2019. I think it's time to replace them because some of them are burning out. We do this because it will give us a lot of savings. Right now, even in Alostar, the solar panels will give us about 30,000 ringgit Malaysia per month in savings. But with this improved double efficient solar panels, we will have about savings approximately 50K a month. So we think that this one is a good investment in the long term because hospitals, the electricity and the water is not very cheap. Any of the healthcare industry players, you will know. You have to switch on the light and have to leave it on there. All the machines are running. It's very expensive. Now, of course, we also have the establishing our MDX before the roadshow. But now actually the RYMDX is already operative and started since March of 2025. So it's now in third month of operations. This one is just to cater into a new market. The new market is basically because in Alostar now, we do 90% of all lab tests in-house. So hepatology, serology, basically like your so-called like your BP labs lah. You take blood, you take urine, all this, 90% is done in-house. Now there's a 10% chunk there that we do outside. We outsource it, which is microbiology. So right now, RYMDX focuses mainly on closing that gap on the microbiology market. That's why for us, we first opened in Kulim, and the plan for it is later on to be reabsorbed into PMC Kulim again, the bigger hospital. So it can be part of a bigger ecosystem. And what we foresee is the improvement in our margins later on in 2028. Next slide. So in terms of the offering summary, I think as you all know, we are going to be offered on the Bursa ACE market of Bursa Malaysia. We are in the healthcare sector. I think very obvious. But nonetheless, we are also still Sharia compliant, and we are selling for 22 cents. So Dato's name is very famous. She has a very famous motto. Her name is GCD, or known as good and cheap. The hospital is good and cheap because you got good quality and cheap pricing. So the same thing with our IPO also. It's also good and cheap. We have a market capitalization of 240 million with a valuation PE based on FYE 2024 to be 16 times. We will be closing on the 25th of June and balloting 30th of June with the allotment done on 7th of July. But I think the most important day of all for all the investors present here today will be on the 9th of July on the listing day, Gong Day. So our enlarged share base is about 1.09 billion shares, but the one that we offered to the public, or so-called under the new share issuance, is 272 million shares. Now, out of the 272 million shares, majority of it, about 64%, is done through selected investment via placement. And also, of course, to the eligible parties is about 16%. So all in all, the Malaysian public will get about 54 million shares. Now, in terms of the utilization, I touched on it just now, that the PMC Kulim will get 50 million, but in the acquisition of the equipment for PMC is about 5.3, and of course, estimated IPO expenses is 4.7 million. So all in all, our UOP will add up to 60 million ringgit Malaysia. Next slide. This one is the structure before IPO, but I think the most important one will be the next slide, where the eligible persons is about 1%. Public portion is 27. You can see that our MDX is also shared by Dr. Mariappa and Dr. Wu. These are the two microbiologists that is spearheading the subsidiary's effort to establish itself. Of course, our majority of promoters are Dato' Lee and also Dato' Dr. Lim. Next slide. Okay, now in terms of financial highlights, I'll pass over to Mr. Yap to lead us through the fray.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Lee. I hope you guys still with us, and good evening, everyone. Okay, let's come to the financial highlight part. Okay, as always mentioned in my presentation, yeah, this is a quite boring topic, but it's also important part to everyone to know that, as we still can't escape of number in our life. Okay, so please bear with me. I will try to keep it short and sweet to highlight on a certain key financial highlight of our group. Okay, let's go through year by year. Okay, from the left, you can see that from FYE 2022 to 2023, we recorded a higher revenue, which you can see on the red bar, which was driven by the higher patient volume reflected the post-pandemic recovering following the easing of COVID-19 restriction. And resulting from that, our GP and GP margin, which is in a gray bar and also the line chart, is increasing due to the lower procurement cost and also particularly absence of COVID-19 purchases recorded in 2023. Okay, when it comes to 2023 to 2024, you will see our revenue is increasing, which is driven by our healthcare support service segment and supported by the revised medicine prices and the increase in the complex surgical case. However, when you look through the GP and GP margin, it shows a decrease due to the increase of medical staff headcount and the revision of specialized fee to retain and attract the talent. When you come to the FPE compared to 2025, okay, this FPE is referring to the November period. Okay, in the Q2 of the year, if any one of you may still remember, there are rainy season happening in every state at the time. Hence, likewise to Alostar state also having the same thing. And not sure whether any of you has catch up some news in the Kedah or Alostar area. Okay, there are some serious flood happening surrounding the area, which will impact us as the patient couldn't access easily. That's why you'll see our revenue is decreasing from there, as we believe the patient may face some financial commitment also and delaying their treatment. As for the GP and GP margin, you can see that it shows a decrease mainly due to the revision of the specialized fee. This is how we to retain the doctor. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, come to the PAT and PAT margin. Okay, you can see that we recorded a lower PAT despite higher GP as mentioned earlier. This is due to the impairment allowances for one of our major supplier from 2022 to 2023. And subsequently, our PAT and PAT margin was catching up from 2023 to 2024 due to the absence of the impairment mentioned just now, and came to the FP 2024 to 2025. Our PAT and PAT margin declined, which was due to the flood as mentioned earlier just now. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, this is our revenue breakdown. Okay, as mentioned by Tatoli in the earliest presentation, our segment divided into 3 segments, which was the specialist consultant services, healthcare support services, and other services. The main business segment was our healthcare support services, which contribute the group approximately 66 to 68% for the past 3 financial year and also the FP 225. And in terms of the patient care, we comprising inpatient and outpatient, and inpatient was our primary contributor for the past 3 financial year and also the FP 225. Moving on to the next slide. Yeah. Come to our balance sheet position. We have a total of 118 million for the total asset and 21.9 million for the cash at bank, and then 92.2 million shareholder fund as at 30 November 2024. In terms of the key financial ratio, you can see our gearing ratio was as low as 0.16 times before the completion of the PMC Kulim. And just for info, based on the pro forma as set out in the prospectus, the gearing was able to maintain below 1 time after the public issue and also the utilization of our IPO process, as mentioned by Mr. Lee just now. And came to the current ratio, it stood at 3.76 times. And the dividend of up to 20%, we intend to declare to the shareholder every year, depends on the group financial performance. When it comes to the average trade receivable, trade payable turnover, and also the inventory turnover period, we will maintain below the credit term given to our debtors and granted by our supplier. And we have an inventory turnover period of 62 days. Okay, moving on to the next slide, I will pass back to our strategic director to explain more on the ESG part.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Yap. So, of course, I think I've highlighted and talked a lot about ESG. We are very focused in the environmental sense, as you can see, but it goes far beyond that. This initiative is chaired by our Esther Li Ling Hui to a very passionate degree. The achievement of the environmental initiatives, of course, cannot be done without the support that we have in Alostar, but also it's not to say that we cannot do it. In the PMC Alostar now, we are registered under the Green Building Index GBI certification. Even a 30-year-old building can still achieve this. Of course, we are also having an ongoing transition to paperless documentation in our hospital. And of course, with the new PMC Kulim, our design and rating is 5-star for MyCrest. Of course, in the social sense, our workforce is 75% women, and we are supportive of inclusive and fair recruitment practices. We provide a lot of upskilling, ERP training, career growth opportunities. So even those that came in without an education will get funded for completing their studies. And of course, we are complying with all ILO standards. Thanks to the safety standards in the hospital, we have managed to achieve before the listing 1 million hours of safe work environment. Last but not least, on the governance, our board composition is 50% independent directors with 30% women board directors. We adhere to MCCG, although this is not part of the requirement yet, but we are really on track to getting into the main market anyways. So we are really adhering to MCCG in 2021. We have a very strong internal control and risk management, and we are compliant to ABCC and compliant with PDPA. PDPA is just basically talking about the stakeholder data, all the patient, whether their data is taken care of in the broad sense. So nonetheless, I would like to thank everyone for coming here today to listen to us talk about PMCK. Perhaps we can move to Q&A.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you, Mr. Yap. Thank you, Dato' Lee, just now for the presentation for PMCK Berhad. All right. Are you guys ready for the Q&A section? Okay. For the first question, how does PMC Kulim project align with its long-term growth strategy, like the rising density of private and half-private hospital in Northern Malaysia?
Okay, I think I take the question. So you see, what actually have around here, I am not sure what is the half private hospital. I know either we have public hospital or the government hospital. So I never heard of this half private hospital yet. Okay, so in our region, basically in Alostar, we can in Alostar and Kedah, basically you can see we have government only, and we have KPJ here. We have Pantai in SP, two Pantais. They are very close to each other, and we have these areas in our town. So basically in our town, let's say in Alosar we have 3. KPJ is 8 here before PMC when it started earlier. After that come to us PMC. Then recently, about 1.5 years ago, we have these areas. So I can see that we have different market compared to we are not working on the same business model, I should say. So like still when you look at the statistic, Kedah is still short of beds, the sparse capacity of the beds offered. So in Kulim, you can see there's only one GH Kulim there. So there's no hospital in Kulim as well. So I don't see that it's like I don't know the audience, this gentleman or ladies, what she means about in terms of long-term growth. So of course, when we have human, we have growth. You sure we have growth. Depends on what market segmentation you want to go into. Of course, I don't see with the income GDP compare Kedah and let's say Penang, we are in the northern side, is different GDP that we are talking about. So the growth is still there. I still see in Kedah by 2030 and 2040, we have a aging population. So there is still a need for this like the common disease, like what Mr. Lee said, the NCD, the normal hypertension, blood, this diabetes, and this heart disease, this kind of cases. So we still have that market that is still not really tapped, So market is there. So of course, when we see when there are older population, we may venture into offer other types of services, such as assisted care for the elderly, and we still continue our primary and secondary within the range of affordable. Then, of course, the government also provide primary and secondary, but you know government have a long queue. Government you needs to wait for your not the days that you choose to do your follow-ups or your consultation, but in private we offer such services for the convenience of the patients. So I think I hope that I answered the question.
Yep, quite clear, Dato'. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Is PMCK planning to expand the beyond Kedah and Penang after the IPO? Greenfield acquisition GMV. I think just now Mr.
This
Lee
one, yeah, I
already.
answered already.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
the next question on the how sensitive our revenue model also, I've answered. Top specializations also have.
Okay.
I think for the retention of attraction of specialists, I think Mr. Yap covered it a little bit on it already lah. But I think maybe Dato', if you don't mind, I take this question lah. How we
Okay.
plan to attract and retain them, I think to summarize it to this attendee, we give them purpose. The simple reason because you can see a lot of doctors still stay in GH, right? There's not all the doctors are leaving, going to private healthcare just because of money. A big portion of them still stay in the industry. Just like Dr. Lim, charging at an affordable rate is because they find it to have purpose and meaning to actually engage with the patients, to serve their patients and serve their community. So I think in our sense, our group offers this attractive ability for them to serve the patients while still getting good take home profit lah. Can take home some big salary also lah. In the sense of the word, this is what we are giving them, because if we just give them money all the time, you just take money and throw at it, you cannot retain the doctor also. Even if I give you, let's say, 1.5 times the salary, move halfway across Johor away from your family, from us in KL, or go to Singapore, you may not go because you're not happy, right? You don't find meaning in your work. Your nights become day, your day become nights. So that is how we plan to attract and retain them. This is how we've been doing it for the past 30 years. Dato has been doing it, and we've been very successful. Even when others healthcare open also, just a small majority, small minority of the doctors left, not all of them. So this is the reason why we think that we can still remain competitive.
Okay, thank you. Not only salary, you also take care of your doctor. Okay, how about the break even for the bed occupancy rate after the new PMC already complete?
Dato, I think this one have to depend on you to answer lah.
Okay, so maybe he's asking about how many years this Kulim will break even and give me break even EBITDA, right?
Yes, and
He's
also
mentioning.
the bed occupancy rate lah. What you think the
Okay.
percentage?
Okay. So it depends on the market that you tap, yeah. Let's say from my business track record, from the year one year that I increased my bed 100 beds from 72 to 172 beds with my expansion track record, it took me 1 year. Okay. So for Kulim, I think a little bit longer. Maybe we said that because we did not have anything to start yet, but I foreseen the market is quite ready there. It's just that they are waiting for the takers. So give or take is 2 to 3 years lah. Give one time full to make it like what we having in Alostar. Even our old track record of PMC, the 4 stories, is also took us around 2 years to break even, to make a break even already. So we should not be, because of the business model, I think, so we should not be too far away. Maybe somebody will heard, a lot, some people will ask me, they heard Sunway have 1 year only to break even their brand new hospital. So you can take or give and seeing that statistics from what you can gather around.
Okay.
Say Yin, is it okay if I
Okay.
take one question in particular?
Okay. Sure.
Because Mr. Chao Tao Li, sorry if I mispronounced your name. I saw your question in another live session also. Can I know where is your Kulim hospital location? The hospital location is somewhere around the High Tech Park, the Lunas area, just slightly downwards a bit more. So if you're coming from Kedah side, the Lunas, you have to drive another about 20-30 minutes, then you should arrive already lah.
But
Uh,
now I think you can Google it lah. There's opposite of one more lah. If you Google KGCC Kulim, KGCC, then you can see the hospital is actually opposite there already.
yeah,
Or be specific, if you know Fuller Hotel, the road of Fuller Hotel, that whole stretch, then you will
yeah,
see already it's the same side of this Fuller Hotel.
yeah,
So opposite, you can see there's one newly built retailing center also. It's quite sort of like French style building, KGCC. Then you will see they are opposite to each other. Same stretch as Hotel Fuller Hotel in Kulim.
yeah. Thanks, Yin. Sorry, because I saw the question before already, so wanted to address it.
It's
Yes.
all right. We also need to answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This question asking is like, are you planning to digitalize or adopt the health tech innovation to reduce the cost to serve per patient? Like overseas have hybrid consultation.
I think this one I take like Dato', if you don't mind. In
Okay.
terms of digitalization, our hospital is already fully digitalized in terms of our medical records, in terms of our beds. But in terms of health tech innovation, this one in Malaysia, the uptake is quite slow. The reason being because the market, I think, is still quite sensitive. Like, I mean, if I were to ask any of the attendees today, would you go and consult your doctor when you're sick online? I think half of you will probably say no lah. I think lah, from my own personal experience also. So I think this one have to depends on the market uptake. But of course, if we see that there is a big market to serve this niche, then of course we will cater it lah. For now, there are certain players that are already inside it, and we don't foresee that for us we have to come into that area yet lah. Because even in our suburban also, some of our auntie uncles, any of you from Alosta, sorry, some of our auntie uncles also have trouble reading still. They have trouble communicating or typing on the PC or computer, and that is the one that we mainly serve for now in Alosta. This connects with the other question that how much is the medical tourism in Alostar? It's actually about 1% only lah. We have a medical tourist in Alostar, about 1%. Still very little, but actually in our previous years of service before COVID, there used to be a lot of medical tourists come. Those in Thailand or whatnot, they will come from the southern of Thai in buses. In my younger years, like when I was a little boy, um, they used to come in buses. Nowadays, because of COVID, they shut the border, so they already found a substitute for it. But nonetheless, we see that there is slight, maybe the word of mouth come back. We didn't do any social media marketing, but they come back. So the word of mouth is definitely connecting it again.
Okay. Quite good. No, the local also from overseas patient coming. Okay. The next question asking, could you share some color on the pricing difference of their services, and is there any room for margin expansion?
Color on the pricing differences of whose services. I think
I
this question,
think
our
maybe you
competitor, is it?
can, yeah.
I okay, Dato, I think I take this
Could
question lah.
same.
I think this one, put it this way lah. If we compare Alostar in Alostar lah, the region, the cheapest would definitely be GH. Okay, because no one can beat the government in subsidizing healthcare. Then the next one is I would say us because in Alostar also, like let's say we talk about the delivery of care, the pricing, we are the second one. Then we are followed by another player, which is KPJ Alostar, or also known as Kedah Medical Center. Then the most expensive one is the Aurelis Hospital lah. So in our small little region of town. So to give you a reference, we are still somewhere in between on the lower end of the affordable care. It's not to say our price is, little few hundred like that, no lah. But it's also something a few hundred, few thousand. Can still make a profit, a good profit of a company, but we are not in the premium range still. So is there room for margin expansion? Yes, because we are still not charging at the ceiling rate, but to maintain affordable pricing for our community, we don't intend to do it unnecessarily lah. We do it only when there's a business strategy in place or when there's a very big change in regulation or when the margin really just don't make sense anymore.
Okay. Following this, how about like government just announced about the expansion of the SST 6% and 8% in coming July, and it now move to September. Is that will affect PMCK?
Dato, can you answer this question or Mr. Yap?
So if you
Maybe
ask,
I think Mr. Yap want to answer.
okay, let Mr. Ya answer then.
Okay, just this one is just for our own opinion now. Okay, because this 6% SST, right, it will impose on those non-Malaysia citizen. So of course, for every hospital, definitely there is some impact over there. But for our case, as mostly our so-called the ratio, I think there's a question of asking what is our ratio of local versus the foreign, right? We can say that the foreign will less than 5% for our case. So in case the government really impose this so-called 6%, is the impact to the PMCK is not significant. Okay, I think also the AHPM is currently in the discussion with the government on this. So we will see how it go on that.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Is there an expected shift in revenue mix toward high margin services like diagnosis, elective surgeons, or wellness package?
Actually, for us, we don't have a differentiate between wellness, between different packages, different pricing, To us, our objective is built on, human healthcare is a basic human right. So we don't have this wellness packages. This is what packages this one. So that's not like branded or what, when we do when it's needed.
And I think to add on to it, we don't simply diagnose and ask you to do any services when you don't need lah. Honestly, a lot of our patients, truth be told, also sometimes they come in just want to ask a simple question. Doktor, PCM ni makan berapa biji ah? We don't charge for those kind of things lah, okay? But in terms of expectation and shift in revenue, high margin services, you can talk about case composition or maybe complexity in cases. For those cases that are very complex in nature, for example, doing the stenting, PCI, is it, Dato' Lee? What is it called, PCI?
PCI, pacemaker.
Those then we can put it on the higher margin because those are complex in nature. But for those that are simple, like the outpatient consultation, all we still have to do. So I think that's how I'll answer it lah.
Okay. Okay, going back to the topic of regulation, with the expected rollout of DRG, what is the potential impact to PMCK?
Okay, as you can see, our pricing, DRG basically governments want to put everything on a price list that what so that we don't simply charge that it's not regulated. So up now for our PMC, we still very laid back following Schedule 13, which in 2013. So now government is coming out in 20, maybe 25, they are going to name it. And for your understanding, every revision of Schedule 13 from 2013 to 2016, and they are coming out in this 2026. So every variation is about to have a 10% to 15% increase. So right now we are still very laid back. We still using our 2013 schedule, and we are not really fully followed lah. So if really government is going to impose and give another new DRG charges, so I think the audience will get the answer that we will definitely benefits from the new schedule fees that government is going to impose on all DRG. So that are the rooms for us to have a better margin than now we are having right now.
Okay. Okay. When was the last time PMCK revised the price?
Okay, this one I think outlay in the prospectus, right, Mr. Yap?
Yeah, I think the last revision will be on the last year. I
Yeah.
can't really recall the month, but it will be on the last year.
Yes, it was last.
November? Is it November or September? Q3, I think Q3, Q4.
Q3,
The,
around Q3.
But it wasn't a across the board revision.
Yeah.
Just so the audience is aware, we only make price revisions every now and then when the last time we did it because of currency exchange fluctuations because the MYR and the USD fluctuated too much
yeah,
already.
that only because we use majority for all private patient, we use original medicine. So
Yes.
those only affected by the US dollar exchange to Malaysia MYR, then only we revise. It's not that everything we revise also.
Yeah.
Because we understand that we must work within our business model as per se.
Yeah, so because MYR and USD also extended fluctuating for quite a few months already, so of course for us we had to make some minor revision but like Dato' Lee said, selective changes. I think I saw one question whether or not PMCK prescribe generics or give his option to patient. Yes, we do offer generic options, right, Dato', to our patients.
We have.
Yeah.
It's a patient choice. Some patient they really on budget. Example, maybe they have so little limit left to their insurance premium insurance limit for the year. Not everybody have a 1 million or 2 million medical insurance in our area. Back to my era, people purchase only 200K or 300K or 50K limit insurance medical card. So patient under that circumstances, we usually give a choice to them to help them in sort of so that they don't fork out for out of pocket money from their daily or from their purse lah in terms of that. Also in the meanwhile we be compassionate in their journey of recovery. So we do offer patient generic medication and the original one as well.
Okay, quite good. Okay. Okay. It is the subject to new negotiation with the insurer and penalty recently, like just now you discussed about.
Sorry, penalty?
No. Did we have
insurance panel?
Yeah, did any of the insurance panel come and ask us for renegotiation or anything like that recently?
No. Basically, we renew our contract when it's new. So usually they will ask for the price list and the packages that what are our price range. That's all. Renegotiation,
No
no.
lah.
I don't.
No lah.
You
To
means
answer,
they negotiate because of want to go down the price or what?
Yeah, I think that's what that's what the audience is trying to ask, because a lot of, maybe they read like in the news that a lot of other hospital got renegotiations or dropped. To answer the question directly, no, we didn't had any issues or face any renegotiations with insurance panel. Year to year, they always ask us that, Dato, can cut costs. Then sometimes we just answer yes or no, but not like a major overhaul like so thorough like that lah, no lah.
Sometimes the insurance also need our opinion, how they can help the patient, their policyholder to, to further cutting costs and save some money. I think we need to work hand in hand with the insurance company to listen to their opinion as well.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Before we end this, okay, could you share with us where do you see yourself, PMCK, in 5 years?
5 years. 5 years. 5 years, right now we have to complete and make our PMCK Kulim look good, have the good profit and the growth to share with all our shareholders here, that going to be my shareholders, future shareholders, and you enjoy the profit and the affordable healthcare model, and you have the healthcare services, you have the care, and you have the money as well as a shareholder. That's what I see in now of the 5 years road right now. If you invest in us because we are selling cheap right now, if it's only 15.94 PE, compared to other brand of hospital, you can see they are selling at 24 PE, 35 PE. That's so, and their per piece per price of a share is not 22 cent, is ringgit, So I can see down the road 5 years you enjoy some profit, and also you can access, same time you have accessibility to the healthcare that we should have.
Yeah, and I think in 5 years times, my the group's goal should be, now EBITDA break even already, Dato. Our
Yes.
Kulim hospital open for what, 2 years already. We should be EBITDA break even.
Yes.
I hope we already give out 4 times dividend policy.
Yeah. Down the road
And
4 years, you will enjoy some dividends as well. And
I hope
I mean
so.
the share price also, you will enjoy it. And
Yeah,
same time, as I said,
and
you have
and I
the
think and I think in the sense,
accessibility to healthcare.
yeah. And I think in the sense of the word, in 4 years, hopefully we've already done maybe a merger or two also lah. So
I
long,
hope we
5 years.
I hope we found a group of people have the same mission, share the same purpose. Maybe they also want to expand and they like our business model, and somehow or other we can work together.
Yeah. And honestly, if I can be a bit more candid, I hope to maybe be able to share a drink or maybe meet some of the attendees today lah. I think in the 5 years times, maybe the AGM also don't know jala how many time already. Maybe we'll come across and cross paths lah.
Quite good for your prospect future.
So I hope if you are not buying, also keep us in your watch list and see. We hope we can impress you to subscribe in our shares. So thank you all for coming and join our webinar, and thank you Rakuten for hosting this webinar and help us to reach out to the retailers.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee, and thank you, Mr. Lee and Mr. Yap, for tonight's presentation for us. And once again, congratulations on your coming listing on the ACE market on 9th of July. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay,
Good night.
May you be happy and healthy.
okay, thank you. Okay, good night.
Yeah.